Hello, everyone. We are here in sunny and warm Orlando, Florida. We are attending our Saladmaster life-changing event. It's our yearly biggest event of the year. This is Annie Edwards. I'm a Saladmaster dealer based in Chicago, and I have, again, a brand new guest for our podcast, Successful on Purpose, and I will let my guest to introduce himself. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Greg Windfeldt. I am President and CEO of Preferred Credit, Inc. We're a consumer finance company that finances Saladmaster and other products purchased by consumers. So we give the money to the consumer to purchase their products.
So it's not only Saladmaster. PCI does also other companies that do direct selling directly to the customer. So we are, I almost feel like PCI and Saladmaster is almost like one company. We feel like a family. We always meet each other. And the one big thing that stands out for PCI, for me personally as a dealer, is the customer service.
Yep.
I think PCI has one of the best customer services. And as a CEO of this company, how do you nurture that kind of culture, the company culture, and how did you create that?
Well, to create a culture of strong customer service, it starts with the people from the day you hire them, you're looking for certain personalities. So we do personality testing, interviewing, things like that to get the personality that is striving to help people. So it starts with the hiring. Then from there, it's a series of programs. It goes from, we do 3 to 6 weeks of training for our people before they ever become engaged with the dealers or the customer. Then they have ongoing monitoring. So we listen to calls and rate their calls. So every time they're interacting with a customer or a dealer, then those calls are all recorded and then samples are taken, and that agent is then rated. It's top down. It starts with an expectation from the top saying, this is who we are, this is the way we expect you to act, to do things, to treat people. Even in our collections department with people that are past due, haven't paid their bills, we really talk about compassion and understanding that customer's situation and be a help for them, not just a, hey, you owe us this bill. So it starts with really hiring the right people, training in the right way, monitoring, and setting an expectation for a certain type of behavior for what they're doing.
I know you founded this company, yeah? Is this your father founded? So you are the second generation that it's a family-owned company. So it's exactly same way like our Saladmaster. It's also family-owned company for past 80 years. So what's the legacy? What do you, now that you are the CEO of this company, how do you try to not only continue the legacy of your father and your family, but also leave something new, bring something new to the legacy? What do you strive for?
Well, we like to bring in, so it all comes down to the people you bring into the organization. So right now, as far as family members, it's only my brother and myself. So we don't have very many family members. Out of roughly 250 employees. We have a management staff. They are handpicked, they are selected, they are trained and groomed and brought through to continue that family philosophy, ethos, culture. And so everything that we do, we talk about in our meetings with leaders all the way down to managers and all through the organization, what our culture is, what our expectations are, who we are. So we have a stated, so most companies will have a mission and vision statement. Well, ours actually starts with values, then our mission, then our vision. Because your values, and we have stated values of what we expect and how we expect our people to act. You state those on paper. It's everywhere in the office. It's trained. It's reiterated. It's discussed all the time to make sure it's always top of mind. And then the mission is also tied back to the decisions we make. So, like I always like to tell our folks across the board, even if you're customer service agent talking to a consumer, you make decisions every day, and this is the framework we want you to make those decisions with. So you start with our values, which is competency, compassion, character, contribution, connection. So those are our values, and then our mission is to be stable, most innovative, and most trusted. And so every decision, so even a customer service agent is making decisions every day. Should I show up to work today? Because if they don't show up, then we're not providing the service. So they made that decision. They made a decision to treat the customer or whomever with respect and dignity and things. So people, no matter what, are making decisions, and you have to guide them to that decisioning process. And you do that by training and retraining and keeping your values and your vision and mission top of mind for them. And then you hold people accountable to behaving and acting and speaking with those values in mind.
I mean, Cheryl is our account manager for Saladmaster. As a CEO of PCI, which is one of our major finance companies that provides financing for our Saladmaster customers, what do you like about Saladmaster? I know you have many other clients, but what do you particularly like about Saladmaster?
Well, I've been involved in Saladmaster for over 20 years. And, we finance a lot of vacuums, alarms, beds, water systems. Saladmaster and what it represents, healthy cooking, healthy lifestyle, is so aligned with society today. It's so aligned with what people, cooking at home, being family. There's so many of these values that we have as an organization that I have that are so aligned with
match, yeah.
And to me, the Saladmaster opportunity is the best opportunity out there because it's aligned with society today, with what people are looking for, which is a community, healthy lifestyle, healthy eating, and saving money. A lot of people go out to eat all the time, right? Well, what are you going to do when you go out to eat? You're going to spend a lot of money, and you're not going to eat healthy. And so even just not going out to eat once or twice a month can pay for your Saladmaster set. You're going to eat healthy, you're going to feel better, you're going to be more engaged with your family, and you're going to save money.
Yes.
So there's all of these benefits to the owner of Saladmaster that is very aligned with our beliefs.
I mean, as we progress, our societies progress, we want everything now fast, we want immediate gratification, we want fast, quick, and it's just the constant fast-paced lifestyle that we are so getting used to it. And now I think in 2025 or last few years, right after COVID, I think there is that switch, the people that want to slow down, people want to enjoy more life, people want to, have higher family values, and they want to have healthy lifestyle. And I think COVID woke up a lot of those instincts back into our society all over the world, and we can't help but to see the tendencies, the consumer tendencies are changing constantly.
And I think the consumer tendencies are changing, and people have a different perspective on life.
Yes.
I think food has gone from a necessity, just a commodity. Well, I need nutrition, I need something to eat, so I'm going to eat something, to it is a lifestyle. So even today, like my wife and I will spend time together cooking together, or other families, my kids are all out of the house now, but I could definitely see families spending that time in the preparation process, not only the consumption process. And I think that's a big thing that you get by cooking at home, is you can incorporate the family values. You can bring that togetherness. All our lives are so busy; they're full of all kinds of distractions. Electronics, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram,
YouTube,
all of these distractions. But at the end of the day, what we
Yes.
and interact and engage. And you can do that in the kitchen because, you know, if you slow down a little bit and say, hey, we're going to cook a healthy, nutritious meal, so you got that benefit out of it. You know, you're going to have less fat, less oils, less probably even carbohydrates and other sugars.
Yeah.
And you're going to spend quality time together
Yeah.
as a family unit. And I think more people are realizing that that's important, especially people with kids that, you know, you can't, kids need that nurturing. They need to be shown how to live.
And that connection between the family members, because right now we have the iPads and iPhones and all that stuff. So we all kind of sitting in each other's separate rooms and separate corners and not really having that human connection anymore. And I think more and more as the electronics and as we progress in all these AI technology and all that stuff, I think that human connection, that spirit is such a very important thing that as humans we should preserve that. Yeah.
Well, and I think what happens is more in you know, generations gone past, the family always sat down to dinner. You know, and that was always a thing. I know growing up, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and we sat down to dinner virtually
as a family
virtually every night. And I think what people are realizing is they have to be more intentional. So it's very easy to not do that anymore.
Yes.
And what happens when you don't do that, you lose that connection between the family unit. So, you know, by focusing around meal preparation
and food and homemade meals.
You know, those distractions kind of go away. Like if you're chopping, you know, if you're chopping your vegetables or preparing your meats or whatever, you know, you can't be watching something on YouTube or on Instagram or something like that. You have to, and then you can be engaging.
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to have that engagement with our family members to ensure that we can, you know, because you have to grow those, even with your family members, you have to grow and maintain those relationships.
You've been successful businessman for many, many years. So I don't know if anything changed like 10 years ago, how you saw success and how you see success today. What is success to you?
Well, 10 years ago, success to me was, you know, how big can we build the company, how fast, and, you know,
How to grow.
And you still need that drive.
Yes.
You know, if you're going to have financial independence and a certain lifestyle, you have to have that drive. You have to make those sacrifices of time away from your family and doing the work. Now, over 10 years, as the success has come, our company's grown about 400 or 500% in the last 10 years. And I've aged. I've kind of said, okay, I'm stepping back saying I can hire people to do things, so I'm not the one always doing it. And I can spend more time with my family. So my perspective changed that I'm not, you know, always like, well, I have to be here, going here, and running so hard. And so the key is how do you find that balance? And, you know, I would say early in my career, especially as CEO, I pushed too much to the drive, too focused on the business, and not enough on that. And so a good business person has to figure out, how do I balance, how do I fulfill the needs and obligations of the business, which is very hard, especially if you're first starting out. You do have to put those sacrifices in.
Yes.
But once you put that sacrifice in and you attract and build the people around you, then you can start backing off and letting the other people do it. If you've selected the right people and you've given them the information, the knowledge, trained them, getting them to understand, you know, what they need to do. But it takes time. You don't do it overnight. Building a business doesn't happen. Growing a business doesn't happen overnight. You know, they always say, you know, preferred is the overnight success. That's taken 40 years to get there.
Yeah.
And so, but that's the way business works. Is sometimes it starts slow. It's a lot of grind. It's a lot of sacrifice. You know, and then gradually that snowball starts building and starts building and building, and you get more momentum and more momentum and more momentum. And it actually gets a little bit easier then to some degree, because now you can afford to hire people, pay them well, to get the right people that can do that job. So the key to successful business is 100% around getting the right people. And a lot of times companies, especially big companies, will just say, well, HR, go get me this job.
Oh.
Well, if that job's really important to your business, you as the owner, you as the leader, if that role is really important, you have to go identify, you have to make sure you're finding the right person. You might even need to go find that person. All of our account reps, like you mentioned, Cheryl, I handpicked.
Oh, okay.
They were either in the company and I promoted them, or I went outside the company and I hired them. And I did it all myself because I knew at that time exactly who I wanted, what I wanted them to learn. So then they worked for me and I trained them personally, because that is a very, very important role, because they're the ones that take care of our clients and the dealers. And so you can never abdicate the role of recruiting and training the really crucial roles.
Wow.
The leader has to do that. Now, yes, I don't get involved in hiring customer service agents anymore and a lot of those roles, because those are a little more repetitive. We have a certain profile we're looking for. But any role, any senior role, any role that's really important for the success of the company,
You are always.
I'm always directly involved. In recruiting that person.
So to manage 200 plus team of employees in your company, it takes a lot of patience and a lot of those, soft people skills.
Yep.
So how you develop those skills in your management team? How do you nurture that in your key roles in your company?
Well, that comes down to your values. So, really, again, you have to do that, you have to have a certain level of compassion, because not everybody's perfect.
Yes.
But you also have to set expectations to ensure that whoever it is, that they are actually doing their role. And that's one of the hardest things in business, is if somebody cannot fulfill, and this gets hard, especially with growing companies where you hired somebody, early on, they had the skill set you need, and then the company's growing and growing and growing, and their skill set doesn't grow with the company. What happens is the company outgrows them, but they've been with you, they're loyal, they love the company, you love them.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if they can't do that job, they can't be in that role. And that's where it gets really hard, because then you either need to
move them
out or move them over or do something. And that's the hardest thing in a growing company, is you will outgrow
certain people,
certain people that don't have the ability to keep up with the needs of the organization. And if those needs aren't met, you as the leader are responsible for making sure that those jobs, those roles, those things, that you have the people that have the ability to do it. And that's the biggest mistake most company leaders make, is they have somebody in a role that can't do it, and they're not willing to make the decision to change. And it's a very hard decision. So I have, in my company, there was a lady that started with my father early on. We only had 4 or 5 employees, and he hired her personally, and she was very good. And she was, when the company was small, she could do that role. As it grew, she could do it. But eventually, we hit the point where we were so big that the role she was trying to do, she was no longer able to do it. She had been with the company, loyal to the company, for 31 years.
Wow, 31 years.
The company outgrew her. I had to let her go. I had to tell her she had to retire. That is very hard, but it's the best thing for her, because she knew she wasn't succeeding, and it was the best thing for the company, because then I could get somebody in that could do that job. And but it's very hard, and what happens is most people aren't willing to make that decision, either soon enough or ever. And that's the key, is if you're a leader, you have to make decisions. they don't even have to always be right. And that's what most people are afraid of. They're always afraid of making a wrong decision. Well, I can tell you, a wrong decision is better than no decision.
No decision.
Because a wrong decision, you can see that you made the wrong decision and you can course correct and redo it. If you don't make a decision, nothing happens. And that's another pitfall that many leaders get in, is they're afraid to make a bad decision, so they don't make a decision. Well, when you don't make a decision on many things, the organization can't move forward. It can't keep going. It can't. And if you get too many times that you didn't make a decision,
It builds up.
And the company comes to a halt, and then it starts crumbling. And so the biggest thing for a leader is you have to be willing. It is your job. It is your responsibility, especially if you're an owner, that you make the decisions. They're not always going to be right, but you have to make the decisions, and you have to make them timely. Now, you can say, well, I need a little more information, or if I wait a little bit and see how these other things work. But ultimately, you have to make that decision.
Wow, interesting. Because obviously, for success of any company, it's the team. It's the people inside of your team. Yeah. So those dynamics are constantly changing.
Yep.
And as a leader, you have to be also very flexible and see what's going on inside those, the assess it and take action accordingly as it comes up. And sometimes, as you said, that fear kind of like locks you up, and you don't make that timely decision, and it will, at the end of the day, it will hurt you more than not making that decision. Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like if you have all this change and stuff happens, and say it's a personnel decision, somebody that can't do that role. Well, everybody else can see they can't do that role, and if you don't make that decision to do something, you might lose these other people, or maybe somebody is a wrong fit. They aren't following your values or something. It's the effect on everybody else that creates the most damage.
Wow.
And so it's being very aware as a leader, as these things are moving around, is, are people living by your values, treating other people by your values, your mission? And if they're not, you have to do something about it, even though it's hard.
I read somewhere, write your goals, but write your goals, but write with a pen, and then write your tactics or actions in pencil. Yeah. So you constantly have to adjust. Your final goal, but the way you get to that goal is a constant change and constantly evolving. Yeah. So as a leader, do you follow you've been in the business a long time, do you think you follow more your intuition, or do you follow more your brain now as you make decisions and being fluctuate, when things change like that?
I'm very analytical, so I still need information from my brain, but you also, especially when it comes to people, you have to trust your gut.
Trust your gut.
The times that I've made hiring mistakes, where I've hired the wrong person, kept the wrong person in the role too long, my gut was telling me they are the wrong person. But on paper, logically, they seemed right. But my gut kept telling me, no, this isn't right. This isn't right. So you kind of have to use your gut and then verify.
Verify.
Like, what does your intuition tell you, and then try and verify it. And I would say your intuition is generally not wrong.
Most of the time.
What's hard with intuition is severity. So your intuition doesn't usually give you a severity factor. It just tells you something's not right. And so then you got to try and figure out what's the severity. How big or how small is this? How good or how bad is that person? But never discount your intuition, because your intuition, it's part of the way the human brain works from eons of evolution. Is our brains have been taught to pick up on small details and signals that we don't actually register consciously, but subconsciously is there. And that is what your intuition is your intuition is saying, hey, I've got all these things these little signs and different things that I picked up on, and they're in my subconscious, and now it's coming out as saying something's not right. But because none of them are any significant of thing, your brain doesn't go into one thing. And so that's what your intuition is. It's all these small signals out in the world that are telling you something doesn't make sense here.
This podcast, I mostly interview our Saladmaster dealers because I want to showcase the culture and the beauty of the people that we have in this business, that we have wonderful people from all kinds of backgrounds, all kinds of nationalities, all kinds of ages. So as an outsider, you are looking from the outsider from our partner company. What would you tell dealers? What certain things that maybe they should pay attention, or maybe they should improve, or maybe they should work on? Small things that you may be seeing as an outsider.
Well, the thing about having your own business and being a dealer, especially a small dealership, is, when somebody hires you and they give you a paycheck and they say, do this, do this, do this, you go, okay, if I don't do that, I'm going to get fired, I'm going to lose my paycheck, right? When you have your own business, that direct link between what I do and don't do and my pay gets muddied.
Yes.
But it's still there.
Of course.
And the difference is you just don't have somebody
telling you to do it.
And so as a business owner, you are the person ultimately responsible for your success. Nobody else is responsible for your success when you own your own business. And it's especially true when you have a direct sales or a Saladmaster. And what happens is a lot of dealers they don't have that focus and that drive to say, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to do it every day, I'm going to get up, just like if I had a job, I'm going to get up, I'm going to do this, and this, because that's what I need to get done. They because there's nobody telling them what to do, there's no structure, they go, no, I'll go do this, no, I'll go do this, and I might do that. And next thing you know, they've spent an entire day, and they go, well, I was so busy.
Yes.
Busy is not what creates success. What creates success is accomplishment. Did you get it done? How much did you get done? Did you think through things? And that's what my dad always had to say. Don't confuse activity with productivity.
Activity versus productivity.
So you may be active, but did it accomplish anything?
Yes.
And so what I see so much in especially in the dealership models is dealers are very active, but because they're not disciplined and focused, they're not very productive. And the thing is it's a very hard job. Running a company takes an extreme amount of discipline, focus, and drive. And if you're just running all over willy-nilly, and you don't have that focus, like I always talk to dealers about your schedule, and well, what does your day look like? Well, I don't know, I come to the office at this time and I might talk to that person. I said, no, you have to have a schedule. And consultants can, or salespeople can consume so much of your time that's not productive. I'm not saying you don't give that time to your salespeople and your consultants, but you do it in a structured manner that you are teaching them, helping them solve their problems, helping them or whatever, and not just an unstructured manner where you talk about the weather and you talk about this, and next thing you know, you're 3 hours into your day and you didn't get anything accomplished. So you structure your day, say, I'm going to do this from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and I'm going to do this from 11 to 12, and then I'm going to talk to consultants or dealers or salespeople from this time each day or this many days of the week. And then all your people have to know that's the only time I'm talking to you. and you schedule that time.
Schedule that time.
Because otherwise they will take up, and the thing is especially as a dealer in your own sales organization, you have to prioritize. That's another thing dealers don't do. They don't prioritize their activities.
What's the importance?
Yeah. The most important thing is you have to people in the house. So if I was a dealer, I would be spending a significant amount of my time figuring out how I'm going to get somebody in the house, how I'm going to get more people in the house, when I'm going to get them in the house. Because if you don't have presentations, you don't have sales, right? And so that's where I would allocate. So it's allocating time. I'd allocate a lot of my time to working with my people to either come up with new and better ways of prospecting and getting appointments set, and then how do I make them better? And then from there, I'd work on sales tactics, and then there's always business administrative stuff. But a lot of dealers, the business administrative stuff is kind of the easiest stuff. And so that's what they spend most of their time on, and they spend very little time on getting leads, prospecting, getting in front of potential customers, even though that is the most important thing of their role, is getting in front of potential customers. So
I watched one video about the sales styles and all that stuff, and he talked about being able to be found by other people. So be visible in places where your customers are, and be visible, and everybody should know what you're doing. So anybody that needs that item can come to you and find you and purchase it from you. So what do you think about being found, because we are such in the direct sale business?
In the direct sales, so the one thing is to have name recognition, brand recognition is massively expensive in the United States, especially. So you really can't get where the consumer says, in this business, the consumer is never going to say, oh, I want a set of Saladmaster, I'm going to go find it.
Okay.
They're just not going to ever do that because there's not the name recognition and they don't understand the benefits of it. So they call it direct sales is because it's you being direct going to the consumer to show the consumer the benefits of the Saladmaster.
This is what they need in their life.
This is what they need. But before that, they never knew that. Most customers did not wake up in the morning saying, I need a new, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 set of high-end stainless steel cookware. Nobody wakes up in the morning saying that. And so what it comes down to is not so much your customers know how to get a hold of you, but how do you identify those potential customers and how do you get their attention? That's the focus, because they will never come find you. And most people don't have the capital to create a brand that people are going to get. Or I've seen a lot of companies go broke. So, a lot of companies will say, well, I have a new product here. I have new shoes. I have sweaters. I have bed linens. I'm going to sell them online.
Yeah.
Most of them go broke because it costs so much money to
drive the traffic to that listing,
to that website, for them to buy. Now, how do I entice them to buy? Well, now I got to throw discounts on them. Now I make less money. And so most companies end up not succeeding because the customer acquisition cost is so high to get them to my website, to get them to click on it, to get them to buy something, and I can't charge enough because it's so much cheaper at Walmart, Amazon, whatever. And so that's why it's so hard. So in direct sales, that's why direct sales is so powerful, is you identify your prospective customers, and now you just got to figure out how are you going to get their attention so they will take the time to look at what and listen to what you have to say. Listen to what you have to say. So that is the key, is how do I get their attention not to buy the product, but to look at the product. That's what you're after. What are those things? How, is it kiosks in malls? Is it, home shows?
Trade shows,
health shows. That's why those work, is because you can get in a very short time, pique that interest, that curiosity, and then how do you take that piquing of that curiosity and turn that into a commitment to listen and learn about your product.
Yeah.
And so that's how you do it. You're not trying to get somebody to the point where they're wanting to buy. You're trying to get somebody to say, I see that there's something here and I'm willing to put some time into understanding it better. And that's where most dealers should spend a lot of their time is, how do I get that prospective customer's attention?
Yeah, as many as possible. And our goal is to double our number of dealers this year. So that's the goal, to not only to bring more people into the business, but develop them into the dealers. So I think companies spending a lot of time and effort into that right now. And I think it's a great direction to go to, and the changes that we see in our company, I'm really excited about it, and I think this year will be a phenomenal year. And I've seen the numbers earlier, the number of bonus earners that received bonuses from PCI, number of dealers that were on the stage and all that. You can see, the business is growing, the business is thriving,
and it's an untapped business. If you think about it, it's really interesting when I look at it. So people will spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a proven system, a franchise. So maybe it's a sandwich shop. But yet, in this business, you go learn to sell. You need very little capital to own your own business. And that's what Saladmaster is refocusing on. How do we show people the opportunity? There's tons of territory. And there's so many major cities. You're from Chicago.
Yeah.
I'm from Minneapolis. We don't have a Saladmaster dealer in Minneapolis.
And Chicago,
5 million people, and there's only 2 of you in Chicago. And those are huge population bases.
Yes.
And so the opportunity is massive because there's all this open territory, all these places that there's
and all these people,
potential customers that are concerned about their health, have, and lifestyle.
Yeah.
But how do you find them and get in front of them?
Yeah.
And that's what this is all about. And there's tons of opportunity, tons of territory. And that's what I'm always perplexed with, is somebody will go spend, hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a franchise for a sandwich shop and pluck it down next to 30 other sandwich shops.
Yeah.
But yet, here's this opportunity that has very little upfront investment, has much higher
Return
income potential.
Yeah.
And there's territory open all over the place.
Yeah.
So
that's the beauty of this business, and
that's why I'm excited.
Even though we are the brand's been out in the market for 80 almost years, but there's still so much untapped potential in there, and I hope through these podcasts, through these messages that we send out, somebody will listen to this and join us and join our mission and join our family in this mission to spread that message throughout all the different communities all throughout the world and the United States. So there's tons of opportunity out there. So a lot of people are sometimes like afraid to leave their 9-to-5 and join a business, that instability of not seeing that paycheck every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, So that's, I think, the biggest fear. I heard somewhere that paycheck is more addictive than heroin, than the strongest drug out there. So if somebody is like having that fear and hesitation, what would you tell them? Well,
human nature is we look for stability. Paycheck is stability.
Yes.
Most employers, but even with a lot of employers, it's not that stable. There's a lot of layoffs that happen all the time.
Yes.
The beauty about owning your own business is, yes, you could fail, but nobody can terminate you. And so it's changing the paradigm of the way people look at it and say, well, I have a job, I have a job, yes, I'm getting a stable paycheck, but that employer can fire you really at any time.
Any minute,
So it's not as stable as you think it is. And yes, you can start your own business, you're ups and downs, it's going to be hard. But once you develop the right people in your organization and the process and things, it does become much more stable. stable, and nobody can fire you. You own your own business.
Yes,
And
yes.
so they're just trade-offs, and it really comes down to, do people believe in themselves? You know, that's the thing. As the dealer, the business owner, what you bring is the belief and the confidence that this can be done and it does work. And you know, we just saw in our meeting, there's hundreds of people, successful dealers that show you that it can be done.
Yes.
You know, I work with a lot of different groups. I mean, we have 1,000 dealers in the United States that we work with.
Wow.
And, you know, not all of them are successful, but 75% of them are.
Nice, nice, nice.
Some are very,
Nice.
very successful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there is the higher rate of success in certain businesses, and I think Saladmaster has such a very high rate of, I think, possibility of a success in this business. Because it's not easy. Every business is difficult. There is no such thing as, oh, easy business. No. Everyone requires work, time, and input, energy, and all that stuff. But I think with that minimal investment, the upfront investment, and ability to grow that $3,000, $5,000 investment into millions and hundreds of thousands, it's amazing, you know? So it's, I think that's what, you know, we just need to let people spread this message and let the people understand and know this.
And that's why my family's been, my father has been in direct sales for over 50 years. And, and the reason, you know, when he got in because he needed money. And, you know, in those days, there weren't all the safety nets back in the 60s.
Yeah.
He just needed money. He had a wife and a child, and he needed money. And so he got into the direct sales business. But the beauty of the direct sales business is, you know, many businesses require a lot of capital, connections, different things like that to get into the business.
Yes.
In the direct sales business, all you need is you,
The
some
product.
drive, determination, and a good product. And the beauty of Saladmaster is where society is today, it highly supports
The idea behind
idea
it.
of health, wellness,
Yeah.
healthy eating, nutrition. And so you have this social wind at your back.
Yes.
of-
I think it's
of
going
saying-
up, and I think
people
it's,
saying this is important to me. Where, you know, we work with a lot of alarms and vacuums and other things, and it's much harder. Right? It's much harder to say, well,
to convince.
somebody to say, well, why should I, you know, my vacuum works just fine. Why should I buy this one? No, there's reasons, but in, you know, the general belief across all of society is, I need to eat less fat, I need to eat more vegetables,
Yes.
and I need to be healthier. Now, are people willing to do that? Sometimes not, but there's a lot. They all understand that's what they should be.
Yes.
So you remove one of the obstacles of interest of people seeing, viewing, and buying your product.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Thank you very much. I think it was very insightful and very detailed, I think, information that you provided. And I think anybody that's maybe from our dealers or somebody maybe looking into becoming a dealer for Saladmaster, I think they will get a lot of good information out of this video. So thank you very much. Enjoy your time here. I'm leaving, I think we are both leaving on Sunday back home. So we are here all weekend in sunny Orlando, and the weather is beautiful here.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, so we are enjoying
Much
our
better than
time.
Minneapolis and Chicago.
And Chicago. So we are really enjoying the sun and warmth, the nice 70s here in Orlando. So thank you very much again, and we'll see you again soon. I will be doing a couple more interviews here in Orlando, so stay tuned and see you next time. Thank you.